Hey, Jono.
Hey, Conrad.
So, 'tis the season, right? Holiday season. What would you say to watching a different kind of Christmas movie? Something that has like a gritty feel to it, with like a realistic Santa Claus. He's like kind of dark and has a storied past and has lost faith in himself, but then he's got to fight bad guys, and it turns out that he's got a dark history with combat and knowledge of weapons. Doesn't that sound awesome?
Sounds like you're describing Fatman, and we already did a review of that like 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Well, Violent Night surely is going to be better than Fatman, though. Right? Right? Jono, why are you crying?
Hello, lovely spectators, and welcome to a Film Fight Singlie. I am your host, Jono Rodriguez, and with me, of course, is my red-cheeked, packle-geeked, men's warehouse cheek on the street with my meat. Hey, I changed it up. Conrad Hartman. Hello, Conrad. How's it going?
Hey, you're going to like the way you listen to this podcast. I guarantee it.
Explain to us, please, because I keep forgetting every episode, what this show is all about and what makes this one a singly so special.
Nothing would please me more, Jono. Now, here on Film Fights, we like to pick two movies, pit them against one another in a brutal grudge match, and bring one out on top to reign supreme. However, it's just a little singly. Today, we're just going to be talking about one little old movie.
It's like half the film fights.
Half the film fights, twice the value. Don't ask us how it works, addition by subtraction.
Yes, it's basically like when you get a thing of concentrate, orange juice concentrate, right? It's a little guy, but you have to add stuff to it. But why? Why don't you just pop the top and eat that fresh from the tube, you know? It's delicious. It tastes like a dreamsicle without any cream.
You know, I've always thought it was concentrate because it was supposed to help you concentrate, and I was never good at school. And I was slopping those things down like they were made of, well, like orange juice.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I also made the same mistake, but I didn't make the correlation between learning and concentrate. I just thought, they really focused on putting oranges inside a tube.
Oh, I see. It's not to help you concentrate. They're just like, listen, this took a lot of work.
Yeah, it's letting you know that, hey, frozen orange juice ain't free.
Here at Minute Maid, we hand squeeze every orange into that little weird tube that you put in the freezer.
Oh, I thought they freeze squeezed it. Like they squeezed it, you know? So it was freezing while they squeezed it.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, the combination of freeze and squeeze is just freeze. I was trying to make a portmanteau out of it, but it's not to be.
No, you could say squeeze.
That's why it's a screeze. Screeze?
Oh, that sounds
or
like a
for queeze.
Both of those sound like something that happens after a sex act.
Well, listen. Let's just say no one needs to know how the orange juice is made, okay?
Yeah, that's why it wasn't in the Discovery Channel's like how it's made. That one got left out, because it's an X rating, and this is supposed to be a program for kids.
Do you remember there was like a period of time in the 90s where like they were basically everyone was just like sugar for breakfast, like orange juice that has concentrated very hard on being orange juice, and like fruit, corn in lots of different shapes.
No, it's like from Calvin and Hobbes. It's like sugar frosted chocolate bombs or whatever, or chocolate frosted sugar bombs was the cereal.
Hey kids, instead of using milk, try orange juice or hot fudge. I was fancy, so I used Nutella instead of milk.
What?
Nutella.
It's not the same consistency.
I was a fat kid. Did we pick a movie for this week?
Yeah, we did. It's right there. It's right there in the intro.
Folks, this movie is like the Lucky Charms swimming in hot fudge of movies. This is
no.
a delicious slurry of crap called Violent Night.
No, I would say that this was like German chocolate cake, because I'm like, oh my God, I love chocolate cake, but there are two things I don't like: coconut and Germans. So
Sweat starts beating down your co-host Conrad Hartman's forehead.
Hey, it's a joke. That's why we're laughing. And also, like, only certain kinds of Germans, like the ones that,
the ones from Schindler's List. Wait, no, not Schindler. He was the good one.
He was the good German. But he was also Jewish, so it doesn't count. They cancel each other out. Because, chocolate cake is great, but, like there's, that coconut gets in the way. And if you like German chocolate cake, then you won't like this movie.
Oh,
or no, wait, hold on. You will like this movie.
Oh, no, but I like German chocolate cake. But to me, this movie was more like Boston cream pie, in that I like Boston, but I hate that dish. So...
So you like a cream pie from Boston, but not specifically a Boston creamed pie.
Maybe after a few martinis. Am I right, folks?
Yeah. Some of those guys are real handsome over there in Boston. I'll have them creaming my pie any day.
God. And they've got that sexy accent where they talk like this. Oh, my God. Oh, it's something about it makes me wet in my whistle.
Wet in your whistle. You're about to wet your whistle with his wet whistle? Is that what's going on?
Let's just say my nose starts running.
Yeah, it's allergy season up in Boston, let me tell you.
Oh, man, they turn me on so much the hairs on my arm start falling off.
So what Conrad and I are trying to say is we watched Violent Night.
And we are actively avoiding talking about it.
Exactly. This is interesting because this may polarize some people, because as we've learned, people kind of like this movie. And I would love for someone to explain what it is that's great about it that's not in a superficial way, in that, like, oh, this one element is really cool and neat. But it's like, well, that's not enough to save a movie. You can't just be like, oh, David Harbour's performance is so good. But it's like, well, nothing else was, right?
Right.
Am I alone in that?
Nope. You got a non-alone right here with you. You're not home alone, Macaulay Culkin.
Thank you. Although that was referenced in the movie, too.
So, before we really get into it, and you should know this by now, but since this is a new movie, I'd like to remind you that spoilers will likely abound if we get to a chance to talk about the movie. So, just be ready for that if you're planning on seeing it. This is an odd phenomenon because you and I, in a rare opportunity, got to go see this together.
Yeah.
And we both hated it.
And it was really telling, too, because I think in the... Because, like, I don't like to talk during a movie, especially in the theater, because it's like I don't want to ruin the experience of those around me or what have you. And so I remember coming into this movie thinking, all right, we're just gonna watch it, and if if we're enjoying it in a like, oh, that was badass, or oh, hey, like, cause sometimes you exclaim things at movies, right? That's okay, that's fine, you're enjoying the movie, but right in like the opening scene when he's in the bar, there was something about it, like just like the way it just seemed kind of ham-fisted. And I just lean over to Conrad and just make like a silly comment, like, this fucking what? Okay, we get it. We've seen this thing before. It's almost like they're ripping off Bad Santa and Fatman and maybe a slew of other movies where there's a bah humbug character in it. And I remember even saying that I thought, oh, I shouldn't be saying anything. We should just enjoy the movie. Immediately get assaulted by just like one after the other. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is that? Like, why that? Or what? Like, there are so many fucking things like every minute.
Yeah, and this movie, when we say that like we've seen this a lot of times, such as Bad Santa, it's almost the exact same opening as Bad Santa because Billy Bob Thornton in that movie is sitting there taking shots of old granddad in the bar and getting puking drunk. And that's exactly what happens in this. Exactly, except he's drinking beer instead of old granddad because, family movie. And
yeah, this was.
and he, rides away on the sleigh and then vomits what looks like he's been eating maggots all night.
Well, it's a Santa-ish cuisine.
He does have a very interesting diet.
Maggots au gras. Au gratin.
Au gratin.
Sorry.
High in protein, I imagine.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, let's talk about his diet. It shows him eating cookies and drinking milk at like every place, which is fine, and we're going to say this a lot, Christmas magic, right? When that what they said in it.
Yep, Christmas magic.
Christmas magic explains away every fault with the movie.
Yeah, it's like the Swiss Army Deus Ex Machina.
Exactly.
For sure.
But that's fine if he's eating cookies and milk at every place. But when he gets to the granddaddy place, Beverly D'Angelo house,
angry CEO woman.
Yeah, angry mom. He eats the cookie and then drinks the milk and then is like, oh, it's skim milk, gross. And it's like, sure, that's funny. He dumps the milk into a ice bowl.
Like a champagne bucket.
Yeah, and then pours a very, I imagine, expensive old brandy
cognac.
Yeah, or cognac. Yeah, he pours it into the glass that had the milk in it, so it's looks all milky.
Gross. It looks like a beer with lactose in it.
It's curdling before your eyes.
And also, I would just like to point out that what makes that extra special is like pre-war cognac was very, very highly prized because they were still getting over phylloxera, which killed almost all the wine vines in Europe.
That's
very precious. And he's like, I'll just slog it into this gross skim milk. I would almost have rather him, no, not almost. I would have rather him drink it out of the bottle because then I'd be like, okay, cool. And cognac and cookies, it turns out that the night before we saw this, my wife and I were enjoying the combination of cognac and cookies, and it is a good combo.
But it's not as good as combos, like the snack.
Yep.
Oh, that should be, it's pretzel rolled around milk flavored cognac flavoring.
Oh my God.
It's our new combo flavor. Also, pepperoni pizza for some reason.
You know what? You bring up an interesting point, is that they were called combos, but it was always just pretzel and flavored powder. Why couldn't it, it be like combos like, I'm just throwing this out there, like Xanax and a fresh pillow, or...
Because you could have that right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sounds pretty good, actually.
But if I could buy it at the store, even better.
Or even combos like like Ryu's special punch kick combo in Street Fighter 5. Where he punches and kicks. I don't know what they do.
So here's the thing about Santa's diet too, is that like he's acting like all these cookies and milk are making him sick, and it's also established in this movie that he's a person, but that is somehow made immortal. That they never explain. A Christmas magic.
Christmas magic. He's mortal, but kind of not. He could be shot and killed. Like, how has that not happened in
he was an immortal
2,000 years?
He started as a Nord or Celtic warrior that liked to kill people with a warhammer.
Yeah.
And he was a bad guy. And then fast forward, Santa Claus, Christmas magic.
Right, yeah. Because the screenwriter read on Wikipedia the history of Santa Claus and Saint Nick and all of the whatever Norse mythology and North mysteries.
Yes, mysteries of the North. Norse is North.
Mm-hmm. Norse is always North.
Always
remember
north,
that.
no matter where you are.
That's how I remember because I have a mnemonic device. I'm. I'm also from the New England area.
Mnemonic the voice.
I have a mnemonic voice.
Everywhere's north if you're east or west enough. because you just go around the world.
Yeah, everything's north if you look up. So, yeah, they lean in heavy with this, which
heavy like a Fatman.
Not that movie, never again. No, but like I was surprised. I didn't even notice this until literally when we got into the movie, when we sat down and the movie was about to start. Because I thought the lady was going to check for tickets, but she didn't, so we could have just saw a free movie.
She literally just said, "Do you guys need anything?" And we're like, "Nope." And she was like, "Okay." And she was very nice, but we're like, "Oh,
okay, cool." But I was looking at the ticket, and it said 1 hour 54 minutes. And I was just like, oh my God, what are we in for? This is supposed to be just some silly, like, oh, it's ridiculous.
80 minutes would have been pushing it.
Oh, yeah.
And an hour and 54 that's just mean.
The movie, and I realize after watching the movie, they could have cut out all of that fucking, like, just like, what they might have deemed as world building or something, or history of Santa. We could have lost all that shit, man. I don't fucking care about that at all. It did not serve the story. It did not like.
There was a story.
Yeah, the story was, we want money, and then Santa Claus comes and kills them.
We've only been talking about this movie for 5 minutes, and we're already at the core of what the problem is with it, which is that it didn't know what it was. This movie could have just been silly, a random exercise in like, oh shit, Santa's got a brand new bag full of hammers and knives or whatever. And like, oh, turns out Santa's a bad. We didn't need this like, I used to be a bad guy, the worst guy.
Yeah, it was very.
I used to kill people. And he's talking to this
He's
tiny
talking
little girl.
to a little girl, and the little girl is just like, okay. You know, he's like, I used to be called the Skull Crusher. And she's like, oh, cool. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
That's even worse.
But yeah, and he's saying all this shit, and you're looking at like I kept doing that like look around thing, like when you know like when a child like fidgets at the dinner table because family's here, and meanwhile the kid's just like, oh my God, what's so crazy about today? Like I usually could just go to my room and play with my blocks. I mean, what's happening right now? Like that's what I felt like during most of this movie, because like scenes just dragged the fuck out like heavy-handedly with like, yeah, he used to be this badass and he's all hardened from it. And it's like, what? I don't care. Like, I want to see crazy fights or crazy nights or crazy lights. I mean,
just something that rhymes with it.
Something. I'll take a crazy mite.
Just a little bug bouncing around.
A little bug bouncing around. That would have entertained my eye.
Okay, well, you know what, Jono? Then so we didn't like all the backstory with Santa Claus, but then we've got the family, right? So they were likable, at least, right? Like they were the good guys in the movie, and we wanted to root for them, right?
Let's talk about the family. Now, here's the thing. In the art of filmmaking, you kind of want to show the audience, like, hey, here are the things we want you to think, right? And you can do that very subtly, or you can bash your head in with a skull crusher, which they do it from the opening, like once the movie starts with, David Harbour being burned out, and everything. That scene could have been 30 seconds, but it was like 9 minutes long or something.
He was really just burned out from being in the movie. They shot that scene last. They were very smart about it.
And like the thing is like, I know I'm a kind of guy who looks like just way too much into this stuff. But like when Dad gets into the car for the first time with mom and child, it is clear. It is clear as goddamn day she's not happy about him being there. And the fact that she's picking him up, that's already visual storytelling that says, oh, they don't live together, blah, blah, blah. She's upset. And then, they're doing a thing, and she just like has to say out loud, like, he says, thanks for doing this. And she just goes, I'm not doing it for you. Me, like in front of the daughter, again, like it's just so clumsy.
Not just in front of the daughter. The daughter is like smiling real big, like, hey, Dad, oh, I'm so excited we're going to get to hang out. And then the mom's like, it's not for you. And then the smile melts from the kid's face, and she's like, oh, I'm going to need lots of therapy when I grow up.
Because my parents suck.
At least I'm not going to see a bunch of people get murdered and exploded tonight. Oh, wait, you are.
No, but back to the family. Well, I was just saying that because it all this shit bothers me, and I have to say it because that's who I am. But, okay, take a movie like Home Alone, right? There were a lot of characters that were shits, and they were being mean to Kevin, right? But you didn't want them to die. You were just like, oh, well, they're being mean to Kevin. And the movie even illustrates that, like, oh, you know, Kevin kind of deserved it sometimes, but he didn't deserve it all the way, right?
Most kids, yeah.
Yeah. But in this, it's not even like, oh, we get it. The family's kind of like they want money, you know, they're greedy, they're vapid, whatever, they're soulless. But oh my God, yeah, talk about a scene that goes on. Like we were like going fucking bananas in our seats because the scene was just dragging on. Like, we get it. These people suck. Just move on.
And here's the thing. If the movie wanted to just completely be over the top and cartoonish, that would have been ideal. I would have appreciated that.
Yes.
But it was not that. It was like, oh, we're kind of like straddling the line between being really serious and emotional. And also, we got these wacky characters that are real over the top. And Mom is like the literal devil, except at the end, she's like, no, it's okay. You can have some of my money or whatever.
No, she was like, "Oh yeah, I believe in Santa Claus."
Oh yeah, this is a grump that we've talked about before on the show, of yours in particular. Although I agree with you, this is a movie where Santa is real, but no one believes in him, even though he's very obviously giving presents to kids, and he addresses it specifically in this movie. Individual presents he was given to these shitheads at different times in their life, even Johnny Legs. Which is my nickname for John Leguizamo.
No, yeah, like he because okay, yes, I fucking am infuriated with the logic of that. I'll take the dumb logic in supernatural, because like I have sort of the same issue with it's not even an issue, it's just more of a noticing, because I don't mind it as much, where like ghosts are actually real in the universe but people don't believe in them. And it's like, well, there's so many examples of it in the movie, but it's like, that's fine.
They don't give you presents.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's not like
they don't give you presents.
Like the mirroring logic to that would be if a ghost haunted everybody in the world. That's when it's like, okay, how do you not believe in ghosts?
Right.
But in this, yeah, Santa is delivering presents to everybody. Well, that they're good, doesn't matter. But we'll probably dive more in depth with that in a later episode. Tune in a few weeks.
Just real quick, he actually did give coal to the bad kids too. If you know, there were a couple scenes of him giving coal, so he gave a present to everyone.
Yeah, that's right. And so imagine if you woke up as a kid and you got coal in your stocking. Now, first off, you might think, oh, practical joke from like my parents or my cousin, but they're like flummoxed. They got their hands at like, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
And you got no other presents.
Except the presence of mind, which is, oh, Santa must not be real. That's the only logic building there. But moving back to what you were talking about, where it's like the tone, because you had mentioned that the movie was kind of straddling the line between silly and serious.
Right.
I don't think they were clever enough to do that. I really think it was a back-to-back situation where you got here's a scene or a moment in the scene that's cartoonish and silly and ridiculous, and then hard cut to, oh, now it's serious and emotional. Hard cut to, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Like, it wasn't straddling the line. It seemed like two directors were like, hey, you direct the fun stuff, I'm going to direct the hard stuff. Yeah. And then they edit it together, and it does not fucking
work.
Like
shifting without a clutch in between scenes. Yeah, so this family's having a really terrible Christmas Eve because they're all horrible people. And then the catering company, it turns out, oh no, they're terror robbers. They rob you of all your terror. And
give me your terror.
Give me
Fork it over.
Put your terror in a bag. I said put your terror in a bag.
I hate you fucking kids. Get off my lawn.
Yeah, they take over the house. Now, it's been established that not only is this the largest house in the
World
neighborhood, they said, but like people, they're on a compound. It's not in a neighborhood.
No, yeah, he even says like, we broke down down the road, and he's like, this is a private road. It's like, yeah, you're not in a neighborhood.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so we also know that she talks. Mean mom talks on the phone with senators and tells them calls them P words or
and is really crass
X words or whatever. Yeah. And then we have this random group of caterers taking over the house, led by Johnny Legs, whose code name. Okay, so they all have code names.
Yeah,
like Frosty or Peppermint,
right. Gingerbread,
Yuletide.
Yuletide.
It's me, Christmas tree tinsel lights. I couldn't decide. And then you got Johnny Legs, and his code name is Call Me Mr. Scrooge. Come on, guys.
It's so fucking. When he delivered that, we both burst out laughing. And and the way it was presented, I don't think they were going for a direct laugh. It was more of just like, oh, that's kind of funny. But no, just like because it dollies in on him, it like from below to show how powerful he is.
Right.
It's just like, yeah, Mr. Scrooge. Which, like, he couldn't just say Scrooge.
No,
Mr. Scrooge.
That's Mr. to you. Dr. Scrooge. How about that?
Yeah.
Dr. Scrooge Esquire. Yeah.
No, Lord Scrooge.
Lord Scrooge of the Scroogingtons.
Sir Scrooge, if you will.
It's me, President Scrooge.
President Screw from Spaceballs.
Also, so she talks to senators really rudely.
She talks to everyone rudely.
It is not, well, fair enough. But it is never established what she does and why she's so rich. They're just like, you have a bunch of money and we don't like the way you treat your employees. And we're like, what employees? What is she in charge of?
And I swear, like midway through the movie, I asked you, I said, did they because like I was going crazy and I was like, did they establish who she is or what she does? Because they make it seem like she's the president because she has security, and
she sucks.
She has a lot of money. She
I don't
knows
like
senators.
her policies.
Yeah.
On present opening.
Yeah, too many taxes on presents, in my opinion. And so like now here's the deal. We saw this movie once. And were so bothered by so much bullshit in the movie, they might have said it early. But the point is, it wasn't conveyed in a way that held weight to it of like who she is or what she does. I know eventually they mention near the end that she took over the CEO because her father, and so that's why she became a stone cold bitch because. It was like, oh, you're a woman. You can't take over. So they said something like that.
No, that's what happened because her dad said she would never run the company. He died. She took over to be like, haha, I spit on your grave.
But all of that was delivered almost like in an exposition dump because they say it while walking from the house to the area where he hid all the money.
The last, 10 minutes of the movie, easy. And here's the thing. You didn't need to explain it if you didn't include the detail of the senator and if you had left out more details, it would have been fine if she was just rich. If it was just a rich family, I wouldn't have given a shit. I would have just been like, yeah, okay, probably their Uncle Remus died and they've got a bunch of money and who cares?
Or better yet, how about we maybe skirt the fucking Skull Crusher Nord story that he's telling the little kid, and maybe have dialogue for the siblings to talk about, like, oh, well, you know, mom's never been the same since she took over for dad's business.
Right.
Like, just pepper in this shit. Instead, they have dialogue like, you know, oh, you know, my son's a dickhead and I'm a terrible mom. Like, that may as well be the fucking dialogue.
Yeah.
And I married an actor because he's hot.
Do you think that
Jesus?
Santa seems like he's got PTSD from being a skull-crushing Santa?
That's what they make it seem like.
Do you think that, like, if he had to be like a mall Santa for a day, when kids are sitting on his lap, they'd sit down and he'd be like, the year is 1272. I'm standing in a pool of every kind of bodily fluid you can imagine, and it smells worse than a butcher house covered in a locker room buried underneath a delicatessen.
A poorly run
delicatessen. I'm looking into what's left of the eyes of my fallen friend, and I'm screaming, I will avenge you by tearing the guts out. Why are you crying, Sally? What is it you want for Christmas? For you to stop talking to me. It's a very major pain, kind of.
No, I see it as like, you know, and as I'm digging through the pile of limbs looking for my best friend, I have to think to myself, was it really all worth it? You will get a Malibu Stacy come Christmas. Don't worry. Now run along.
I can still taste the blood. Taste the blood?
Yeah. He like continues the story with each kid. Like he just tells a part of the story.
Anyway, would you like to meet Skull Crusher? I keep it with me at all times. The Warhammer was bigger than any of the children.
Yeah, let's talk about Skull Crusher. Now,
there's more to talk about Skull Crusher.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's the Skull Crusher Jr., which he found in the what was that? A shed, I guess. Sure, outside of the whatever. And that fight scene. Okay, the fights in general in this movie were like the single ones, right? When he fights the first guy with the machine gun, and then he fights the guy near the pool table. It's like they were serviceable.
They were fine,
but they were clumsy. You know, like
the editing was real
the editing,
bad.
The lighting, the way it was shot. They could have used a better stunt coordinator for that. I want to say, because like, I mean, I'm spoiled by excellent fighting, particularly from the John Wick movies. Nobody. I know Marvel has some lately, not their earlier stuff, but lately they've kind of tightened up with their fight stuff. But it was just kind of, you know, whatever. But the real deviled ham, the real rotten egg, if you will, goes to that scene where he fights all those Green Beret whatever guys.
The weirdly established private security kill squad extraction team that's also the government. I don't know.
But also they weren't.
But also they were bad guys.
They were CIA, but they weren't.
I swear to God, when they first showed up, Jono and I were like, they're bad guys.
Yeah, of course they're fucking bad guys. Are you kidding me? I've seen enough M. Night Shyamalan movies to know a twist when it's coming my way. But yeah, and they all get taken out so easily by David Claus, Harbor Claus.
Yeah, they might as well have been running up to Jackie Chan one by one and not using their weapons.
Yeah, but that whole scene was just, it like the lighting was so bad, and like it like I want to say the average cut was probably like 24 frames or less. Okay, like it's just every second or less than a second, it was just like, oh, here's the thing, and then it would hold for maybe 2 or 3 seconds on a thing. But even if it did, you couldn't fucking see what was happening. I mean, there were cool moments, and I think that's where the praise is going to, is like, oh, you see all this horse shit, and then like, oh, he took a skate and like separated that guy's head from his body.
Yeah, that
it's
was
like,
cool.
Oh, that was cool. Or when he ties the guys up and they get like into the eater, the trash eater thing, the mutilator.
I like to think that when they were getting everyone together, starting filming the project, guys, we're so excited to make the directors, like, we're so excited to make this film. Thank you all for being a part of it. It's great. Hey, in fight coordination, we got the fight coordinator from John Wick. It's going to be great. His assistant taps him. No, we weren't able to get fight coordinator from John Wick. But they have done fight coordination before. Oh, okay. So it's probably the fight coordinator from Nobody, or like Hellboy or something that's got some fighting in it. Not quite. Well, who'd we get? They were the stunt coordinator for the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Okay, well, I liked that show. I don't remember there being a lot of fighting in it, but okay, at least they have some film experience. No, I'm sorry. It's the son of the fight coordinator from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. He is a postal worker.
No, it was the kite coordinator. There was a lot of kite flying in that show.
You remember in the opening when Mary Tyler Moore throws her hat into the sky and it pauses? Well, this guy was an extra in that scene. So he's like fight coordination adjacent.
Oh, so he got into fight coordination from that moment.
No. Actually, after that, he became a dog walker. And then after that, he got in trouble for passing a few bad checks. And so... Oh, so he must have learned how to fight in prison. No, he went to a minimum security prison. He did read a lot.
About fight choreography?
Is there any fighting in Danielle Steele novels?
Well, he works within our budgets. So.
Yeah. Honestly, we've only got this set for 3 days, so let's make with the fighting.
And then he fights Johnny Legs in a final scene in which this I will give it to them. This is probably the only clever thing in the movie.
Know where you're going. I love it
in
too.
which they do set it up half-assedly, but they set it up nonetheless. Where he touches his nose or whatever, and he can do magic. Actually,
magic
and that's what I mean by half-ass. Like, does he have to touch his nose to go up the chimney?
He has to
Can
touch
he think
his
about
nose
it?
to magic because
He's
trying to go up one of the chimneys and he's hitting his nose and
working.
It doesn't work. And Jono was like, "Oh, it's because they didn't believe in him," and I was like, "That's not really established."
Yeah,
and
no
Jono was like,
one's there.
"Yeah, I know. I don't know."
Well, yeah, because he goes to like a house with the drunk father with the crib, and it's like, okay, and he takes his 6-pack, remember? And he's able to go up the chimney there, so I guess the drunk father doesn't believe in him, and the baby believes in him?
Even though the drunk father got a lump of coal that was wrapped and addressed to him, and he's supposedly the only parent in the scenario in
that's
this
what it
house, so
showed.
do you think the baby gave him a lump of coal?
So, I mean, he was fine to do the nose rail there, but like here, it's like, oh, you can't. But because it's like, okay, we get it, knows he does it, whatever. Now, it's a twofold cleverness for me in that it's like only if you believe that he's real, that he's really Santa, can he do the magic, which again,
okay.
I'm going with the idea that doesn't fucking matter because he's fucking Santa.
But
he
other
has
people
magic.
believe in him. It just people in proximity to him at the moment have to believe in him.
So does that mean when he's at the North Pole, he's just a regular guy? Like
that's what, Jono? After this movie, he believes in himself.
Oh, I see. So before he didn't believe in himself, so he couldn't do the magic.
The real Christmas magic was in you all along.
So he's just selfish.
Yeah.
He needs
He's
other
a
people
lazy
to
asshole.
believe in him. Can you imagine if he's on the street, he's got a sign, he's like, believe in me for $5, come on, give me a belief.
Wait, you have to give him $5 and believe in him? Or he's going to give you $5 to believe.
I'm sorry, I got that backwards. Like he's cruising down the street looking for belief hookers. And they're like holding a sign like, we'll believe for food. And it's like, God, come on in. And they're believing like, oh, I'm totally believing in you right now. And he's like, yeah.
Jono, for the last time, those people are called therapists.
the only belief system I get. So I'm Santa Claus. No, but anyway, John Leguizamo believes him to be real, which is like, because he didn't believe Santa was real, but here he is beating the shit out of him with a pipe and a fucking snow weapon.
Snowman.
You know those weapons that you use to attack the snow when you're climbing mountains.
A hair dryer?
No, it's like a axe. It's like a sword axe.
An ice pick?
It's an ice pick thing.
Snow pick
that you climb mountains with. I saw it in Cliffhanger. So he believes in him, and so he taps his nose, goes up the chimney, which
is outside.
Yeah, which again, like.
It's not part of a building. It's
if you ignore everything else, pretty clever. He does it, and he pulls John Leguizamo through the chimney, and he gets fucking like squished and torn to pieces. And it is so fucking cool and awesome, and blood goes everywhere.
It's very satisfying. Yeah,
but then
He's just a torso.
But then when the smart part of your brain starts to seep in, which it does a lot with me, I can't turn it off.
More so for some people than us, probably. But
oh, sure. But like, I was just thinking like of the logic of it. Like, well, technically, the way that power would work is if he were to disappear into magic dust, he no longer has the physical capability of holding things. He would just drop him on the ground and go through the chimney, and Johnny Legs would have legs to tell another day.
Well, he can take the bag with him, but is it because the bag's magic, or is it everything he touches turned into powder? In which case, Johnny Legs would still be with us today. So
he would just reappear on the other side. So which is it? Okay, can he physically hold him in his powder state, or does he also turn to powder temporarily?
Also, Johnny Legs has the worst I hate Christmas backstory of all time.
Fucking God, I literally wanted to walk out of the movie after
they
this.
Santa tied up, and they're like, "Who are you, and why are you here ruining our stealings?" And he was like, "I'm Santa. Why are you?" And Johnny Legs was like, "Oh, why do I hate Christmas, you ask?" No one asked. Well,
they really build on this too, like the
growing
whole movie.
up, and he's telling everyone, he's holding court with everyone. Well, you see, when I was a kid, my father loved Christmas, and we're like, oh, this took an interesting turn.
Yeah, okay.
We did it real big every year. Bunch of Christmas presents, several trees. My grandparents only walked on candy canes.
No, they walked with candy canes like big ones.
Our stocking stuffers were more stockings. And then one year, my dad got laid off, and we didn't have a Christmas. And because I'm a selfish prick, I decided I was going to steal it from the neighbors, and because I could see all their Christmas havings. And then my grandpa was also awake when I was sneaking out, and we ran into each other, and we scared him, and he fell down the stairs and died, and everyone blamed me. So now I hate Christmas forever. And he might as well have said, that's probably what set me down the path to a life of crime. Then I started getting tattoos and kissing ladies. It was all downhill from there.
Yeah, it was like the most, oh my God, the worst fucking, because like they really expound on this idea, like he hates Christmas and he keeps talking about it. And then, yeah, when he tells that story, it was just, wait, like, that's it?
Yeah.
What? Like, and yeah, it's as comical as it sounds. Like,
that was almost verbatim.
Yeah, exactly, because he says, my father loved Christmas, but he never states that he didn't like that he liked Christmas. He just said, my father loved Christmas. He went all out. We have a backyard full of Christmas trees. We're better than everyone. And then he lost his job. And the way he said that almost seemed like that prick fucking lost his job, forcing us to not have Christmas. That equals I hate Christmas. Oh, and to cap it all off, I killed my grandfather. And then I went to jail for it. So ever since then, I've just been like, yeah, you want to wish me a Merry Christmas? I'm going to wish you a fork in the eye. And then he does.
And that's why they call me Scrooge McGrinch. Mr. Scrooge McGrinch to you, Santa, if that is your real name. Anyway, we're going to put electrodes on your nuts or whatever.
Yeah, the whole time Santa Man was threatened of his life, I kept thinking, well, he can't die. He's Santa Claus. Like, how are you a person? How are you any kind of person who's survived like 2,000 years, but you're still mortal? Like, then how has he not been just like, oh, I got bit by a poisonous snake, and it's 1452. I just can't get the antidote for it.
Are you kidding? 1452? He could have gotten a cold and just died.
He does live in the North Pole.
Yeah, the doctors were like, you should sing a song and make merry about the goddess Azanaya.
No, he would say, please donate to the church and pray, and then
that's,
you will...
that's accurate.
Yeah, and then eat these leeches. Wear a cold hat.
Okay, if you let a goat ride you on the 13th Saturday
of February. It's like, wait, what?
Now, bury your feces outside my enemy's house. That won't help you, but it'll really do me a big favor. Because I've been really trying to get back at that prick.
Because I've been a little backed up from all the holiday ham.
And he's the only other doctor in town, so if we can make him want to move, then baby, I'll be making leech pies for everybody in this crap town. I'm on my way to the big time castle doctor.
Old castle doctor job. So anyway, what are you talking about, Santa? Oh, excuse me, Saint Nick, or whatever the other fucking names he said.
Oh, sorry, scary skull-crushing man, Nord soldier.
Nick of Lost Boys.
Oh my god.
So yeah, there's not a lot. I really don't want to talk too much about this movie because I'm going to go crazy because there's too many things to really single out. Like, really, it's just like, yes, there's some cool like stuff in it, but it's, it's like, it's not enough. It like the characters just suck, and like and I was honestly surprised that they all didn't die except for mom, dad, and child, because they really like built it up like, oh my god, these are irredeemable characters. Like, they should not be on Earth.
I hated all of them.
They were so horrible, and it got to a point where like the film was trying to tell me, oh, care about these characters because they're going to die. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm expecting to happen. I'm going to ask for a refund if I don't get that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, like stupid Snapchat, Twitter pants kid is just like garbage. Mom is garbage. Actor boy died. He was like the only death, wasn't he? Other than the bad guys.
Other than the 25 other people.
Well, I mean, they were bad guys.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that.
they were nameless hitmen.
So Violent Night sucked.
Yep.
It's not good enough.
Not good enough. Hollywood.
It's not good enough. And I feel that that's sort of the case with a lot of movies, in the last year or so.
In the last 50 years.
Well, no, I mean, like, specifically since COVID, I feel like people have kind of gone easy on some movies. Like, some obviously is like, oh yeah, we're unanimous. Black Adam sucked. Nobody liked that at all. That was a bad idea. But there are some movies that you're just shocked that, whoa.
Yeah, it's odd because I would think that it's harder to get people to the theater now that there's so much available streaming and so many movies release simultaneously in the theater and streaming, that I would think you'd really need to bring your A game, but I guess people's expectations are low enough that it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate because it starts to make people like me second guess how they're watching things. I mean, I recently just came from a string of bad things that I've watched that I was expecting to be good, and they weren't. And people lied to me. They lie to me, Conrad. Even you. You recommended a movie. You said, Jono, that movie you watched I can't even remember what it was. Cape Fear. You should check it out. Martin Scorsese.
Hey, that is a classic. That's a classic.
And I watched it and I said, nope, this movie sucks.
I also don't think I recommended you a 40-year-old movie recently.
No, you didn't. I'm just bitter at
It's
myself for watching.
So, Violent Night. Throw it out there. 0 to 10 bloody Santa hammers. What's your rating?
What's my rating? Is this a new bit?
Pretty straightforward.
For Violent Night, out of 10 bloody hammer, is bloody hammers good?
Bloody Santa hammers? Yeah, the more bloody Santa hammers, the more you like the bloody Santa hammer movie.
Wait, if I give a 10, does that mean I get like a prize or like I have to a punch card?
All you have to do is literally just say 10 Santa hammers and you get a prize, even if you're lying. This is the easiest game ever.
Look, some of the acting was fun. There were some fun bits. I give it a 4. I give it a 4 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And here I am. I'm giving it 3
Oh, that's not that far.
out of 10 bloody snowmobiles.
Oh, shit. Oh, I see. I didn't know snowmobiles were on the table.
So they're actually about even, because they're worth about the same.
The exchange rate of bloody
Exchange rate.
hammers and snowmobiles.
They are both bloody, so
Yeah.
they've both... Well, actually, what's funny is the hammers appreciate in value when they're bloody. Snowmobiles depreciate in value, so it brings them pretty close value-wise.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It does them pretty close, yeah. And you can travel on both. Now at the end of the day, I appreciate ideas like this because they're
Sure,
new, they're different.
sure,
It's
yeah.
how we felt with when we saw Fatman.
Man, I actually, believe it or not, I had high hopes for that, and I had high hopes for this.
Yeah, and we gave it a shot. We hated the fuck out of it, but
Fool me twice, am I right?
right. But like, I still think that there's some we can do something with this format, and you know, I mean, the horror Christmas genre is always been around, both in the like monster part of it, like Santa Claus,
And then serial killer,
or
like
elves.
Black Christmas.
Black Christmas, or of course, like what this seems to be aping off of, the Silent Night, horror,
Night.
Deadly Night. What was I? Yeah,
Silent Night, Horror Night.
Horror-
Yep.
yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night series of movies, but that had more to do with like a crazy man who's killing people, and less to do with.
Well, then you
Santa.
had a like fantastical Christmas monster movie,
Krampus, yeah. Oh my God! Now there's a solid, violent horror Christmas. You know what?
I had a blast watching Krampus
Watch
when it came
Krampus,
out.
man. That movie still fucking kills.
I mean, Adam Scott.
Yeah.
He's
you know,
great.
you would think, oh my God, you're going to put comedians in a horror movie? It's probably going to be
David
stupid.
Koechner is in it.
Yeah, but you watch it and it's like, this is fucking good. Like, the stakes are real, the characters are solid, and the ending is really
That's right. They're not
scary.
eating fake steaks.
No.
They're not
don't-
eating poltergeist fake steaks.
Don't trick me with the ghost steaks, okay? I want it medium rare, not medium gone.
So, you young filmmakers out there, I know you're listening to this podcast. Please make us a good horror Santa movie. Redeem us. Please prove us that it can be done. And hey, it's all right if you disagree with our take on this. You can always drop us a line, battles@filmfightspodcast.com. Let us know what you think. Maybe we'll address it in a future episode. Also, tell us what you think on our social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Film Fights Podcast, you silly goose. You're already listening to us right now. So hopefully you've already rated and subscribed wherever you listen to podcasts. I hope you all have a happy holidays and that they're not disrupted by Mr. Scrooge McDuck Johnny Legs or by skull-crushing Santa or by a mean CEO mom that likes to drink scotch.
However, if there is a Krampus-like monster on your roof, you let him in, you let him tell you secrets, you let him sing to you, and then when everything's just right, bye! Hey, McGruff, I hear you only bite crimes. Well, I got a crime for you in my pants.
Wait, you want him to bite your dick?
Well, I mean, you know, bite it like a turkey sausage. You don't go all the way through. You just kind of needle it. You know?
Wait, you don't chew on your turkey sausage?
Or
you just gum it until it eases down your throat?
Well, sometimes I take my turkey sausages and I like to play with them like I'm a hotshot mobster, like it's a cigar. So I'm just kind of like teething it. So that's what I want McGruff to do.
That's a weird thing to do with ground turkey sausage.
As Bon Jovi once said, it's my life. So let's get started.